made a very eloquent case for Trey Lance.
Yep.
Now let's talk about Nate Sudfeld, because I think he's an important person in this mystery. We're trying to figure out, it's like a whodunit. Who they going to take?
Yeah.
Well, I went back to this quote I found from Shanahan. He often says too much. He's the man who says too much.
He is.
And like, everyone's like, okay, in the press conference, just say X, Y, Z, and we're just going to leave it at that. And that's all they need to know. And then when you ask Shanahan a little bit, he'll just go into it. And so in 2017, they were like, well, why didn't you bring back Colin Kaepernick? I mean, he's pretty good. He has a Brian Hoyer, and he finally just launches into it. He's like, you know what? Yeah, you can have an offense for Colin Kaepernick, but you really have to commit to it like he did with RG3. And you know what? I'm not willing to do that for Colin Kaepernick because he's not my, bona fide starter. He'd be a guy competing. And I don't want to have a different offense for one backup and a different offense for the starter. And I kind of want to have everyone have the same skill set. He said it. He was on record. And he's like, so that's why we have Hoyer and Mullins and CJ and blah, 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 because we can all run the same offense. Makes sense to me. So that's what he said in 2017. Now, everyone's saying, all right, well, Kyle's learned. He's evolved. I mean, he's had these quarterbacks that weren't good enough. Now he's going to get Justin Fields, and he's going to commit. And he might.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that he just signed Nate freaking Sudfeld, who runs a 4.9 and is not particularly mobile and has much more in common with Josh Rosen and Jimmy Garoppolo and the other guys the Niners have had the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Am I reading too much into this, or is this a bad sign for people who want Trey Lance, Justin Fields?
Yeah. So when you first said it or brought it up as a topic, I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, he's got a point here. I'll say this. In 2017, we have to remember kind of the landscape of the NFL and what was going on. Mm-hmm. Kaepernick was on his way to being out of the league. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of racial tension at that time. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. And I think that Shanahan wanted to do his best to prop up Colin without poo-pooing him and putting an end to his career. And so I think he wanted to say the right things. And he basically said, at the end of the day, he was starting a whole new regime and he wanted his guys in there. Colin was not his guy. And ultimately, he was never in the long-term plans. And so he was going to say whatever he had to say and be PC about it and just move on. So, I don't know if that quote to me holds a lot of weight today.
Maybe not. It's just interesting. Again, he could have just said XYZ, keep it vague, moving on, doesn't fit, yada, yada, yada. But he goes into this detail because he can't help himself, because he just can't say dumb stuff, vague stuff. It's just, I just can't. I'm just going to. So it's like, okay, fine. You laid it out and I appreciate it. But now 4 years later, I'm going to hold you to the same logic. And if you change it, then I'm thinking, well, then why didn't you really have Colin Kaepernick?
Right.
I mean, really, was it, was this all a bunch of lies, or was it just political? I mean, I guess who cares at this point? No one really cares why he got rid of Colin. But anyway, I think he was telling the truth. I think he was telling the truth. I think when he said it in 2017, it may not have been the whole truth, but it was part of the truth. So we'll see. The Nate Sudfeld thing just kills me. It's like, really? Nate Sudfeld, huh? Okay. All right.
So is your thought that Mac Jones is the guy? Is this
I hope not. I hope it's going to be they fool us all, and it's Kyle Pitts, and they take whatever Kellen Mond in round 2 or Davis Mills in round 3. I would prefer that, because I don't really see, if you put Davis Mills at Alabama and Mac Jones at Stanford, who would be getting all the love in the top 5 right now? Come
on. We know it's Davis Mills.
What's the real difference? I really think if Kyle's as smart as I think he is, he could be doing that. I mean, I don't know. He also said on the record that trading up for a player like Julio Jones is always worth it, no matter the price. Question is, does he think Kyle Pitts is that good? I do.
Oh, I do too. I think Kyle Pitts is, he's the best player, just pure player in this draft. And that's Lawrence included, in my opinion.
So how many players that are better than the quarterback you want to take are you going to take? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. The Sudfeld thing, maybe it means that they're going to take Davis Mills and surprise all of us. If that's the case, a premature – hold on, Vish doesn't like it. Davis Mills processing and decision-making a big question right now.
Yeah.
But let's say this, man. If Davis Mills was at Alabama throwing to all those players, playing behind that offensive line, and Mac Jones was at Stanford, who would be the one with decision-making questions? Who would be the one with interception issues? I mean, it's easy to look like a good decision maker when all you do is drop back and throw to your first read as quickly as possible because you trust him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's fair that he does have those issues now. Shout out Bish. But
it's true. I wouldn't take him ahead in the top 100 picks for those questions.
No, for sure. But if he was at Bama, I agree with you. I mean, when players are running wide open, it's the same thing that happened with Baker Mayfield. That's why I didn't like Baker when he came out. Like, if you can just watch highlight film after highlight film and people are running 3-4 yards wide open, it's like, okay, well, come on, man. Like, anybody that is decent can look amazing under those pretenses.
Also, Mac Jones throws the ball so early and he throws it down the field, and his guys make plays. In the NFL, there's a lot of guys on defense are going to make plays. He's going to throw a lot of picks playing the way he does.
Right.
Bish, I'm right. Davis Mills may throw a bunch of picks too, but Davis Mills is going to be a late third, early fourth round pick as opposed to Mac Jones. Right. Davis Mills is going to be able to sit. Mac Jones is going to have to play anyway. Raymond.
Well, and maybe worst case, Davis Mills would have gotten the comp that Mac Jones should be getting, which is late round 1, early round 2, just to be frank.
I think that's probably fair. I mean, really, Mac Jones has about 570 throws. Davis Mills has about 480. Again, you put Mac Jones at Stanford, UCLA, it wouldn't look that good. I mean, I don't know. Raymond says, was Kyle's miss on Watson Mahomes his epiphany? It was rumored that Deshaun was plan A. It would be refreshing if so. I think this is the question. Has Kyle had an epiphany? I suspect no. But I think you and most 49er fans hope the answer is yes, because if it's no, it's a little bit bleak, like, really, Kyle, you're never going to
pretty bold. I've been pretty bold in saying that it's never been him. And I've been that way the whole time. So I've got a whole group of friends that are not 49er fans that are ready to just shoot me the text of daggers the night that we take Mac Jones. So I hope for my sake it's not.
He says Mac throws people open. You know how many times his receivers jump up and make 50-50 catches, though? I mean, I'm just saying if he threw the same passes at UCLA, they wouldn't be complete because it's not Jalen Waddle. It's not Devontae Smith. They might be good passes. They're just not going to be complete. His completion percentage isn't going to be 77, and no one's going to be talking about him in the top 10. It's just – I watch UCLA football. I know.
I think Mac throws people more open than what they are. I don't think he's throwing people open. I think even when he quote unquote throws somebody open, they've got a half a step, and he's just putting it in the right position. Which again, it's not. You can't knock him for that. It's the same thing that I just said about Lance. All you can do is play who's in front of you, and he looked pretty darn good doing it as well. I just don't think. Listen, if I'm wrong, Vish, you can come back on me in 2-3 years. Mac Jones will never be a top 20 quarterback in this league. I'm saying it right now. I don't care who he is drafted by.
I don't think the only thing like if you slow it down with Mac Jones, he throws the ball so early. I mean, you say it's great anticipation. Yeah, the guys aren't even open yet when he throws the ball, and it's like, okay, you trust them to win because they will. In the NFL, your receivers won't win as consistently because the DBs are great too. Their DBs are first round picks too. And if you trust your receivers that much, you're gonna throw a bunch of picks. It's just
right.
Ryan says, "How do we get Pitts and Fields?" Well, you trade Bosa to New England, to the
Warner
Jets.
Or Kittle or something. Yeah, that's how.
Break out the checkbook and keep spending.